Helldivers 2 boss told launch players not to buy until servers calmed down, and it took 5 minutes until I got a call from the friendly people over at PlayStation asking what the F I was smoking. Wow. I usually suggest reading the articles before posting, but the only relevant information of that article is in the title of this post. What a bad article. Been playing Arrowhead's games since their first game Magica released. Always thought they deserved massive popularity and just a game most people loved. Really glad to see Helldivers 2 done that for them. Super friendly people and are one of the actual developers who still care about their games these days. It took 5 minutes until I got a call from the friendly people over at PlayStation asking what the fuck I was smoking. Don't recommend that people do not buy your games, it's incredibly conventional wisdom. Yeah, that conventional complacent wisdom is not a great idea when you're the one in the wrong. What Pilestead did was show his audience respect, which is annoyingly rare in this industry. I mean, it ain't a lot. And then in Season 4 when doing the flashbacks, every kid had telekinesis, am I remembering that right? And so they effectively erased the idea that the kids at the facility had any different powers. Where were those kids when that was happening? The existence of 008 and her interactions with Elle weren't the problem. In fact, I wish they had explored some of the other kids that season as well. It's the fact that they made absolutely no mention of her ever again, so the character ultimately served as a cheap plot device. It would kind of be a shame if they ended the series without reconciling what became of all those kids and what all their different powers were. Feels like there could be quite a bit of story to tell there. James Earl Jones dies, revered Field of Dreams star and Darth Vader voice was 93. Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you, and so will I. The greatest voice in film history. Apple losing over $1 billion a year on streaming service. Just stay up and running until midnight tonight and I'm good. Slow Horses, Silo, For All Mankind and Severance are exceptional. Apple TV might not have depth, but they absolutely make up for it in quality. Apple had net income of over $90 billion last year. Losing $1 billion on a budding platform is nothing to them. Amanda Seyfried got the offer for Gamera but thought it'd be Marvel's first flop and I'd never work again. It's about a talking tree and raccoon. Forget a potential flop, sitting there for 4.5 hours every morning seemed like it wasn't going to be fun. That's a valid enough reason to turn it down, lol. Hard to picture her as Gamera to begin with. I wouldn't mind seeing her take another role down the road though. She's a great actress, but this would have been a miscast. She could have played a good Mantis. In Forrest Gump, 1994, Lieutenant Dan mocks Forrest, saying if you're ever a shrimp boat captain, that's the day I'm an astronaut. Later, when he shows Forrest the new legs lifting him off the ground, he taps them with his cane and says titanium alloy. It's what they use on the space shuttle. And he would have been an astronaut too if hadn't been exposed to the measles. Wait, wrong movie. Gary Sinise also portrays an astronaut in Apollo 13 in '95, the year after Forrest Gump came out. LT Dan shouted, "You chink fuck," during the ambush scene. Ended up having a Vietnamese as his fiancée. I've heard that in a sequel book or something Forrest actually goes to space, making him an astronaut. Robert Downey Jr. sets Marvel return as Victor Von Doom in Avengers: Doomsday. Kong died on the way back to his home planet. I wonder how big the dump truck of cash that pulled up to his house was. Whispers till you're 90. Dude found a way to still get all the MCU money after his character died, lol. Wow. I did not see that coming. I imagine he has to be a different universe's Dr. Doom. Favoritism at its finest. He did a couple of mean Oxios too. I love the random ass choice of Rick December in his second year duel with Malfoy. He hit a real run of Stupefy in his last few years. First images from Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. I thought this was Fire Emblem at first. Didn't expect it to be anime styled. I'm really curious how this is going to do at the box office. Do casual Lord of the Rings fans want to see an anime? Do anime fans care about Tolkien? I know anime has been steadily growing in popularity over the last 30 years, but we've never really had an anime crossover into being a big, mainstream success. Characters in the pictures: Helm Hammerhand, Ninth King of Rohan, voiced by Brian Cox, on his throne and his three children: Wolf, voiced by Luke Pasqualino, is leading the armies of Dunlendings against Helm's kingdom. Hera, Helm's daughter, voiced by Gaia Wis, protagonist. It's directed by Kenji Kamiyama, Ghost in the Shell, standalone complex, and it's out December 13th, set 183 years before the events of the Lord of the Rings film trilogy. The War of the Rohirrim tells the story of Helm Hammerhand, a legendary king of Rohan, and his family as they defend their kingdom against an army of Dunlendings. Helm goes on to be the namesake for the stronghold Helm's Deep. Peter Jackson is producing. Apple loses $1 billion annually on Apple TV Plus report. Given how much money that Apple is swimming in, I doubt they care that much given they're trying to entice people to use their software and hardware ecosystem. Netflix was sending good money after bad for almost a decade before it paid off. Apple is also playing a long game here, but rather than take Netflix's fire hose of content angle, they're taking the HBO approach of making Apple TV a mark of quality, a premium add-on if you want the cream of the crop in narrative storytelling. And if there's any company that can afford it, it's Apple. They can take it on the chin for decades before it starts to affect their bottom line. Well, they have $57 billion in cash at this moment and are worth over $3 trillion. I think they can afford to run it at a loss for at least the foreseeable future. They freely encourage account sharing for families, have a lot of long-running free trials, and are only $10. If they just up the sub to 12, they become profitable. They're in a good spot right now. Got these from a customer as a tip during a service call. Anyone know anything about them? Don't have any info on the lightsabers, but a customer giving you them as a tip is crazy, lol. He has 2 dead Star Wars fans in his basement. Getting tipped in lightsabers is crazy. Harry Potter and 7 years of third-wheeling skull and crossbones. Ron be like, don't be mad Harry, you can have my sister face with tears of joy. Harry was also mad at Hermione in POA. Because Hermione reported his firebolt to McG. Third year isn't accurate. In third year, Harry was 100% on Ron's side the entire time and was pretty mad at Hermione too. The John Cena kid's reaction before and after Cena called him out. Their cameras caught the exact moment his heart rips in half. This the most famous kid in attendance moment in a very long time, I feel like. Obviously the most famous one being the girl pissed at the Miz winning, which is iconic. Seriously, why is this dude constantly about to fall over? I heard him talk about this in an interview actually. The way he describes Negan is leading with his dick as he walks. I think JDM did it as a stylistic thing to show Negan as cocky, in a literal sense LMAO. They call him Jeffrey Lean Morgan for a reason LMAO. Like and subscribe.